Billions vanished overnight through pure deception. Nikola, a company that promised a future of hydrogen power, sold a dream to countless investors. Its founder, Trevor Milton, painted a vivid picture of innovation. This vision involved electric trucks and hydrogen fuel cell technology, a future where emissions were zero. And transport was remarkably clean. The company went public in June 2020. It did so through a direct listing. This valuation soared to an astonishing $34 billion. Many hopeful investors believed the immense hype. They bought shares in large quantities, hoping for massive financial returns, but beneath the polished presentations and grand pronouncements lay a truly dark secret. Nikola was fundamentally built on a foundation of lies. The most infamous moment arrived in a widely distributed promotional video. This video prominently featured their Nikola One semi-truck. It appeared to be cruising effortlessly up a desert road. The visual impact was significant. The reality, however, was far more shocking and utterly misleading. The truck was not actually driving, it was pushed to the top of a small incline, and then it was merely filmed rolling down the hill, a complete deception designed to mislead. This single fraudulent act quickly became a potent symbol of the entire scandal. The company's initial public offering allowed Trevor Milton to retain significant control. He was widely perceived as a visionary leader, a disruptor in the traditional automotive world. He frequently claimed Nikola owned breakthrough battery technology. He also boasted of a $2 billion partnership with one major automaker and confidently stated they had orders for thousands upon thousands of trucks. One specific claim mentioned 14,000 trucks. Another even higher figure was 160,000 trucks. These numbers were incredibly impressive, almost too good to be true, because they were in fact false. The company's stock price surged dramatically. It reached a peak of nearly $94 a share. This happened in June 2020. Many everyday investors placed their hard-earned savings into Nikola. They trusted Milton's grand and often boastful pronouncements. Then came the devastating Hindenburg research report. It was published in September 2020. This short seller report was utterly crushing. It was famously titled Nikola, How to Art of Deception.chi. The report presented extensive and compelling evidence of fraud. It detailed dozens of misleading statements and outright fabrications by Milton and the company. It highlighted the downhill rolling truck video as a key example, but that was just one of many instances. Hindenburg also claimed Nikola displayed a fake prototype during its launch event. They asserted the truck's components were not truly functional. It was merely a hollow shell. Another crucial point raised concerned the hydrogen fueling stations Nikola claimed to possess proprietary hydrogen production methods and a vast nationwide network of stations. These claims were also largely unsubstantiated and false. The company had little to no actual infrastructure built. The report caused immediate and widespread panic among investors. Nikola's stock price plummeted. It lost more than one-third of its value. In just 2 trading days, investors were left reeling from the sudden losses. The company attempted to counter the damning report, but the evidence presented was truly overwhelming. General Motors had previously announced a partnership with Nikola. This deal was initially valued at $2 billion. It involved GM taking an 11% equity stake in Nikola and producing the Badger pickup truck. After the Hindenburg report, General Motors scaled back the deal significantly. They completely dropped plans for the Badger truck and their equity stake. This was a huge blow to Nikola's already faltering credibility. Trevor Milton stepped down as executive chairman, and from the board, this occurred in September 2020. He was replaced by Steven Jersky, a former General Motors executive. The fallout continued for months. The U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission began an immediate investigation. The U.S. Department of Justice also initiated a probe. These investigations focused intensely on Milton's public statements and the company's alleged deceptions. In July 2021, Milton was indicted by a grand jury. He faced 3 serious counts of fraud, specifically 1 count of securities fraud and 2 counts of wire fraud. Prosecutors vigorously argued he defrauded numerous investors by making false statements about Nikola's products, technology, and manufacturing capabilities. The federal trial began in September 2022. It lasted for several weeks. Many witnesses testified about the fraudulent practices observed, including former employees who had worked there and independent industry experts. The jury found Trevor Milton guilty on 3 counts of fraud in October 2022. This verdict sent a very strong message to corporate executives everywhere about accountability and honesty. His sentencing was set for early 2023. He could potentially face decades in federal prison. The company itself faced immense legal battles. It ultimately agreed to pay a $125 million penalty to the SEC to settle charges related to misleading investors. This substantial payment was made in December 2021. Nikola continued to operate. But its reputation was severely and perhaps irreparably damaged. It struggled immensely to regain any investor trust. The company still aims to produce hydrogen-powered trucks for the future. They delivered their first batch of battery electric trucks. In December 2021, these were the Trebev models. Production numbers, however, remained extremely low, especially compared to the initial grand promises. In 2022, they reported delivering 131 Tre BEVs, a mere fraction of the thousands promised earlier. The cost of building hydrogen infrastructure is simply enormous. Building sufficient fueling stations is complex and incredibly expensive. It requires significant capital investment and advanced engineering solutions. The grand vision of a hydrogen economy faces many hurdles. Beyond just company fraud itself, Nikola's market capitalization drastically fell from its peak of $34 billion to just under $1 billion. By early 2023, thousands of jobs were impacted, both directly within the company and indirectly across related industries. The value of many retirement accounts decreased significantly. Because of this widespread scandal, small individual investors lost substantial sums. This entire case serves as a stark warning. For conducting thorough due diligence in dynamic financial markets, always verify claims meticulously, especially those that seem too good to be true. The entire episode highlights the inherent dangers of unchecked corporate ambition and the immense power of social media to amplify false narratives. Trevor Milton expertly used platforms like Twitter to directly communicate with his investor base. He largely bypassed traditional media channels and regulatory oversight bodies. This made his claims seem more authentic and direct. And harder to scrutinize by experts, the number of followers he amassed was substantial, reaching hundreds of thousands of people. Each tweet was seen by a massive audience, influencing stock decisions and market sentiment significantly. The ripple effect of this deception was widespread. It eroded trust in new energy startups. For a considerable period, many genuine innovators faced unnecessary skepticism. Because of Nikola's fraudulent actions, the entire alternative energy vehicle sector felt the negative impact. It made raising capital harder for legitimate businesses and achieving mainstream acceptance more difficult. The legal proceedings also revealed internal company struggles and ethical dilemmas. Many employees knew about the misrepresentations. Some bravely raised concerns internally, but their voices were often ignored, or even actively silenced. This created a toxic culture of fear. And complicity within Nikola, the financial implications for all those involved were immense. Millions of dollars in legal fees and regulatory fines were incurred by the company. The company spent tens of millions of dollars on investigations and settlements. This diverted crucial resources away from actual product development and innovation efforts. The original idea of hydrogen fuel cells as a clean energy solution remains perfectly viable. But Nikola's deceitful approach severely set back its public perception. It made the concept seem less credible. And more prone to fraud in the eyes of the public, the iconic image of the Nikola One truck rolling down a hill will forever be etched in financial history as a prime example of brazen corporate deceit and how quickly a perceived empire can utterly crumble. It was not just about one truck or one video, but a systemic pattern of deception affecting thousands of people and billions of dollars. The ultimate lesson learned is clear: trust, but always verify, especially in high-stakes investments. And with charismatic founders who promise unrealistic or improbable returns, the federal government's response was robust and swift, demonstrating a clear commitment to prosecuting financial fraud at the highest levels. This helps restore some much-needed confidence in the fairness and integrity of markets, even if it comes after significant harm has occurred. The journey of Nikola from a $34 billion valuation to a company struggling for basic credibility is a powerful cautionary tale. It highlights the inherent fragility of hype. Without any true substance to back it up, the focus shifted dramatically from innovation to damage control and costly legal defense. This irrevocably changed the trajectory of the entire company. From a once promising startup to a notorious cautionary example, the industry continues to evolve and grow. With new companies constantly emerging, many now face stricter scrutiny from investors. Thanks in part to the Nikola scandal, investors are more cautious and discerning, regulators are more vigilant and proactive, and financial journalists are more critical and probing, which ultimately benefits the market as a whole and protects consumers. The quest for zero-emission vehicles persists strongly. Hydrogen power still holds significant potential for the future. But the path forward is now more guarded. And meticulously examined by all stakeholders, the name Nikola once conjured images of future transport technology. Now, it often brings to mind deception and fraud allegations. The entire dramatic saga unfolded over roughly 2 years, from its public listing in 2020 to Milton's conviction in 2022. A rapid rise and an equally rapid fall, with significant and lasting consequences for all involved parties. It serves as an important historical marker in the world of electric vehicles and alternative fuels development, reminding everyone of ethical obligations and the critical importance of truth. In business practices, the number of individuals involved in the deception beyond Milton himself remained a subject of ongoing debate. But the ultimate responsibility unequivocally rested with the top leadership and its charismatic but deceitful founder. The scale of the financial loss for many investors was truly substantial, ranging into the hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars collectively. For many, it was a painful and expensive lesson in the inherent volatility of startup investments and the urgent need for independent verification before committing valuable capital. This type of event shapes market behavior and regulatory frameworks for years to come, leading to improved oversight mechanisms and greater transparency requirements across industries. The story of Nikola is not just a business failure of a company. It is a profound story of human greed. And the intoxicating allure of quick riches, it vividly shows how easily people can be swayed by compelling and charismatic narratives, even when mounting evidence suggests otherwise. This profound and elaborate deception left a lasting and negative mark on the entire industry and the public's perception of electric vehicle innovation and its promise. The fight for integrity in emerging markets is an ongoing and critical challenge, and Nikola stands as a testament to its paramount importance in maintaining trust.